Graduation day had always been a dream I carried quietly for years, a culmination of late nights, sacrifices, and relentless perseverance. When the day finally arrived, the campus was buzzing with excitement. Families filled the stands, capturing every moment with cameras and phones, proud smiles everywhere. I could feel my heart pounding as I walked across the stage, diploma in hand, a symbol of my hard work and determination. Everything seemed perfect until the ceremony began. As the announcer introduced me, my father, seated in the front row, suddenly leaned forward with a grin that made my stomach twist. Before I could speak or react, he stood up and, with a booming voice, started attributing my achievements to himself. He told everyone how he had guided me, how his wisdom shaped my success, and implied that without his intervention, I would never have reached this point. The shock rippled through me. I had spent years building my knowledge, enduring countless late nights and challenging courses, yet here he was, publicly taking credit for every accomplishment. People around me were visibly confused, some exchanging awkward glances, while others suppressed laughter or whispers. I froze for a moment, feeling a mix of anger, humiliation, and disbelief. This wasn't just a minor comment. It was an outright theft of my recognition in front of everyone who mattered to me. But what happened next would leave me astonished. From somewhere near the edge of the auditorium, a stern figure emerged, an event security officer, carefully observing the commotion. It seemed as though they had been alerted the instant my father began overstepping, but now they were moving decisively toward him. The officer didn't speak. There was no drawn-out confrontation. With precise authority, they approached my father, who now looked caught between pride and panic. The tension in the room shifted instantly. Murmurs turned into a stunned silence. I realized then that a few words had been enough to trigger this reaction. 7 words, clear, unmistakable, and violating the event's decorum, were all it took for the officer to step in. The power of those words struck me. My father's public self-aggrandizement, meant to steal my moment, had instead highlighted his audacity. The security team escorted him from his seat with professionalism but undeniable firmness, leaving my family and the audience in a mix of shock and silent amusement. The embarrassment he faced was immediate and absolute. As I stood there, diploma in hand, the weight of the moment shifted. What could have been a humiliating experience turned into a reaffirmation of my achievement. The audience's attention returned to me, and I finally had the chance to speak, to thank the professors, my peers, and the mentors who had genuinely supported me. In that instant, I realized something profound. No one could truly claim the work, determination, and resilience that had carried me through my studies. No amount of loud words or false praise could diminish my journey. By the time the ceremony ended, my father had been quietly removed from the hall, while I basked in the recognition that was rightfully mine. The experience, though shocking at first, reinforced an important lesson. Integrity, effort, and authentic accomplishment will always speak louder than arrogance or stolen credit. Graduation was no longer just a personal milestone. It was a public declaration of who I was and the truth of my hard-earned success. After my father was escorted out, the auditorium felt almost surreal. The tension lingered like a thick fog, with everyone unsure how to react. Some guests whispered among themselves, exchanging glances that said more than words ever could. I felt a mixture of relief and lingering anger. I had never imagined my own father could act in such a brazen, self-centered way, especially on a day that was meant to honor me. But now, the focus returned to the reason I was there, my achievement. As I descended the stage, I noticed my mother in the audience. She was smiling softly, her eyes glimmering with pride and something else, an unspoken apology for not standing up sooner. For years, she had tried to mediate between my father's ego and my ambitions, often urging me to just let him take the spotlight to avoid conflict. But today, she didn't need to say anything. Her eyes conveyed relief that I had my moment, untainted by his lies. My friends and classmates came rushing over, clapping me on the back and congratulating me. That was insane. One of them whispered, still wide-eyed, "Your dad actually tried to take credit for your degree." I smiled weakly, feeling a strange mix of vindication and sorrow. It wasn't just embarrassment for him, it was sorrow that someone who should have been my greatest supporter instead chose to erase my hard work. Yet, in that very moment, I felt a growing sense of empowerment. His actions, intended to humiliate me, had only strengthened my resolve to rise above him. The day continued, but I couldn't stop thinking about what had just happened. I replayed my father's words in my mind and realized something. Arrogance has a way of exposing itself. His attempt to claim my accomplishments didn't elevate him. It made him look petty, insecure, and ridiculous in front of everyone. I thought about how 7 simple words, carefully watched by those in charge, had ensured accountability. Those words had drawn the line, reminding everyone that no one, not even family, could overstep without consequences. Later that evening, at the post-graduation celebration, my family gathered in a quieter setting. My father, humiliated and silent, lingered awkwardly near the corner. The atmosphere was tense, but I decided not to give him the satisfaction of an argument. Instead, I spent the evening surrounded by those who had supported me authentically: my mother, my siblings, my closest friends, and even a few professors who had quietly expressed pride in my work. Their congratulations and heartfelt words felt infinitely more meaningful than any acknowledgement my father could have taken. It wasn't until later, when I was alone in my room reflecting on the day, that I fully understood the depth of what had occurred. This was about more than just a stolen moment. It was about defining my own identity, separate from the shadow of someone else's ego. I realized that true accomplishment isn't measured by applause or acknowledgement from those who refuse to see your worth. It is measured by the quiet satisfaction of knowing what you achieved through your own effort. In the days that followed, the story of my father's audacious act spread through our extended family and social circles. Most people were shocked. Some were sympathetic, but the reactions didn't matter as much as the lesson I carried with me. I understood now that life would always present moments where others might try to claim credit for your hard work, undermine your efforts, or diminish your success. What matters is how you respond, with dignity, resilience, and unwavering focus on your own path. In hindsight, that day was a turning point. Graduation was no longer just a celebration of academic achievement. It was a declaration of independence. The incident had shown me that even in the face of betrayal or absurdity, I could assert my worth without confrontation or rage. And as I looked at my diploma once more, I knew that no one, not even my own father, could ever erase the years of dedication, late nights, and sacrifices that had led me here. From that moment on, I promised myself that I would pursue success on my terms, surround myself with genuine supporters, and never allow anyone to overshadow my accomplishments again. What my father intended as a moment of humiliation had instead become a testament to my resilience, my integrity, and my unshakable claim to the life I had worked tirelessly to build.